everyone, and welcome to Business Boutique. Today, we are sharing with you another exclusive video training lesson from our Business Boutique Academy. Today's lesson is answering a question from one of our existing Academy members, Katie. Katie owns the wearable wallet, and she was asking how to get her products into stores. This is a really common question. Maybe you have a product-based business and you want to know how to get those products into retail. Well, today's Academy training lesson answers that question. Check it out. Hey everyone, and welcome back. I'm so excited about this lesson because I am actually teaching you about a topic that you asked about. Now, as many of you know, we do a coaching session every single month. But of course, because there are a lot of questions, I don't always get to every single one. But some of those questions are really, really good. And some of those questions many of you can benefit from because many of you have the same exact question. So here's what I'm going to start doing. I'm going to start answering some of those very good questions in our lessons. And I have one this week from Katie W. Katie's business is the wearable wallet. And Katie asks, how do I get my products into stores? Now, any of you that have a product-based business or want a product-based business, you may be wondering, how do you do that? How do you sell your products into stores, into wholesale? So that's exactly what we're going to unpack in this video lesson. Katie, I love this question. Now, the first thing that I want you to think about, and for all of you to think about, is I want you to make sure that you actually want your products in stores. Now, of course, I would assume because you're asking this that you do, but I want you to think about the implications of that. First of all, of course, you're going to get more exposure. You're going to sell more, so you'll have more volume, and you'll have more validity in your business because you're in a retail store. However, because when you sell wholesale into stores, it actually cuts your profit significantly. Because here's why. The retailer will get most of your profit. They're going to mark up the price that they pay for your product by 100%. So let's say, for example, that they pay you $20 for your wallet. They will sell it for $40. Let's look at an example. Let's say that the retail price of your wallet is $40. Stores will sell it at the retail price, but they're going to pay wholesale price for it, which is usually half of the retail price. So they're only going to pay $20 to you for that same wallet. Now, let's say, for example, that each wallet costs you $15 to produce. When you sell the wallet wholesale into stores, you're making $5 per wallet in profit. But when you sell it in retail, direct to consumers yourself, you're going to make $25 per wallet if you sell it at the same retail price. Now, because you make so much less per wallet sold, it's really smart to create order minimums. So when you're working with retailers, you want to make sure they have a minimum amount that they have to purchase in order to make it worth it for you. You don't have to do this when you're just getting started because you probably want to get your foot in the door, but definitely once you have your products into stores and you've built those relationships, you're going to want to create a minimum order. It's going to make it worth it for you and your time to create those products, ship to the stores, and take a huge cut in the profit. Obviously, the only reason that you would take a huge cut in your profit is to have a higher level of volume. A good way to ensure that is by creating order minimums. Now, there's a few other things that I want you to think about to consider if you really want to sell your products into stores. You obviously want to think about order minimums, but you also want to think about reorder minimums. So let's say they order from you for the first time and then they sell out, which is awesome. When they reorder, what's the minimum amount that they have to order in order to make it worth it for you? You also want to think about turnaround time. So if a business comes to you and says, hey, I'm going to need 50 wallets today, can you do that? Do you have 50 wallets in inventory to deliver to them that day? Or what if they need it that week or even the next week? I don't know how quickly you create your wallets, and I don't know how quickly you can fulfill orders, especially bulk orders. Because again, you're not dealing with the same exact volume that you're dealing with direct to consumer that you've been used to. These businesses are buying in bulk. They're buying according to your order minimums, so they're going to want a lot at one time. You need to think about how long it's going to take you to produce that and how quickly you can turn around those orders. You also want to think about payment terms. So when do they pay? Do they pay when they receive the items? Do they pay within 30 days of receiving the items? Or maybe they pay up front in advance. You get to decide because it's your business. You also want to think about your shipping terms. Now, here's where it can get tricky. If you ship an order to a business to sell your product, you need to think about who is responsible for that shipment when it's in transit. So when you ship something, are you responsible for it until they receive it and open it? Or are they responsible for it the moment it leaves your hands? You get to decide, but that can have some implications when it comes to lost packages or damaged packages. Who's responsible for that? Which brings me to insurance. This may be really important in a product-based business, but certainly if you're shipping a lot of packages to retailers that expect to get their products in good condition. You also want to think about exchanges and returns. If they don't sell the products, can they send them back and get their money back? Or if they receive the product and they're damaged in some way, what's your return policy? What's your exchange policy? And how quickly is that turnaround time? See, all of these things are factors that you need to think about when you're working with another business. You're now going from business to consumer business to now business to business. And when you're selling wholesale, you need to think about how you're going to operate from that technical standpoint. Now, once you know that you do, in fact, want to sell your products into stores, I want you to make a list of all the stores that you'd like to sell into. So who is a good fit for your brand and your business and your specific product line? I want you to think of your ideal business. Now, if you've watched the lesson on your ideal customer, you know I talk a lot about your target market being identified by your ideal customer. So who's the perfect customer that your business exists to serve? Well, that's business to consumer. Now you're thinking in terms of business to business. So apply the same concept. Who is your ideal business? What business or business owner would be the perfect fit for your specific type of product and your brand? Who would love to have your products on their shelves? It would probably be businesses that serve the exact same target market that you do. There are going to be businesses out there that serve that same market that would love to have your products in order to serve them and help them. Those are the businesses I want you to identify and I want you to list out. Once you've created this list of all the ideal businesses, you're going to take one of two approaches to get your products in those stores. There's two different techniques depending on the size of business. Let's first talk about small businesses. So for small businesses or local boutiques, you're going to want to take the approach of building a relationship with the store owner or manager or buyer. You can bring them coffee, you can set up a meeting, you can just lurk around and stalk them all the time until they will actually talk to you about this. I don't care your approach. There's a lot of ways to build a relationship and just bang their door down and don't take no for an answer. You can show up because they're a real person running a real business like you are. You can get to know them and serve them, send them Christmas cookies, send them presents, show up again and again, and actually get to know them. When you build that relationship, it gets your foot in the door to talk about how they can sell your products in their stores. But I want you to remember something. I want you to actually talk about how your product can help them and their customers. Remember, in this whole conversation and in this relationship, the store owner is your ideal customer. So they're thinking all day, every day, what your ideal customer is thinking. What's in it for me? Now, we've talked about this before. So everything you pitch to them and present to them should answer the question they're thinking, which is, why do I care? What's in it for me? Now, I'll tell you, the number one thing that store owners care about is serving their customers. So everything you talk about should be how your products can serve their customers, how your products can meet their customers' needs, how your products set them, as the store owner, up as the hero to serve their customers well. When you take that approach, I promise you, the store owners are much more likely to listen. Now, I'll give you a really practical example. People reach out to me on social media all the time for me to pitch their books or support their products or share their blog and that type of thing. And that's awesome. That's great. They need more exposure. But I'll tell you, the posts that I listen to are those that take the approach of saying how they can serve my audience. If someone sends me a tweet and says, hey, I have a new book, I'm so excited, please share, I need views, me, please help me, I'm not really interested in that because it's all about them and what I can do for them. But if someone takes a different approach and says, hey, I have a new book that I think would absolutely help women in this specific area of their business, and I know you talk about this, and I follow Business Boutique, and Business Boutique has helped me, and I want to come alongside you and serve your audience, and I think this book will do that, and here's why. You know what? I listen. Because the angle is not about what's in it for them. The angle is about how they can serve my audience. And I don't care about anything more in the world than serving my audience through the Business Boutique. So when someone aligns themselves with me and with my goals of serving my audience, I pay attention. And you want to do the exact same thing. You want to align yourself with the goals of the store owner, which is, of course, to serve their audience. Now, that's the approach that you want to take for small stores, local boutiques, small businesses, that type of thing. For large chains and large corporations, you're going to need to go through their process. They're probably going to have an application process, and you're going to have to jump through a few hoops, and you're going to have to go through some red tape in order to get to the right person to be considered. You're also going to need to have more information than you'd need to have with a local boutique. They're going to want to know all about your company. They're going to want to know about your wholesale price, your retail price, any sizing or color variations, and all the details. So for example, for each product, you're going to need a SKU, which is a stock keeping unit number. Now, this is unique to the company selling your product. You're also probably going to need a UPC, which is a universal product code. That's unique to the product. So a product, for example, might have only one UPC, but it would have different SKUs depending on how many different stores are selling it. Now, you can get your product into small business stores or large corporations if you're persistent and go about it the right way. The thing to remember is that a small business will buy based on a relationship, whereas a large corporation will likely buy based on your application. But if you get through to a real person at a large company, by the way, that's great. You can build a relationship with them and set yourself apart. But if you don't get discouraged. Just do your homework, cover your bases, and work through their application system. Now, if I were you, I'd start with your local boutiques that specifically seek out unique, one-of-a-kind products, which, by the way, Katie, you have. The wearable wallet is such a great idea, and local boutiques would love to sell something like this. They love buying handmade because they will be stocking and selling something that people can't get anywhere else. It's a great, unique advantage that you offer them, and then as a result, they offer their customers. Katie, your product idea is awesome, and I can't wait to see how this takes off for you. And for any of you that have product-based businesses, I know that these tips are going to help you take the right approach to get your products into the right stores. Now, the action step for this lesson for all of you is to identify if you want to sell your products into stores, and if you do, then I want you to make a list of which stores are a good fit for your specific product line and your business. Thanks so much for watching, and don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. And if you are interested in joining the Business Boutique Academy to get more lessons just like the one you just watched, well, guess what? We are actually open for enrollment this week only. Y'all, we spend the rest of the entire year focusing on serving our members. But right now, you can get in and get your spot in my online training and coaching group. If you are interested in joining, you can click the link below to find out more information.